What is going on, folks? Welcome back to another video. Today we are looking at the OH-6 Loach mod by 8ball and Tobsen, and this, in my very humble opinion, is the greatest mod to have ever existed in DCS. Now, we have some really good mods. We've got the A4 and we've got the SQ30 with thrust vectoring, and those in their own right are absolutely incredible. However, no mod in DCS, in my opinion, that I have ever tried feels as complete and as payware module-like as the OH-6. Everything from the 3D textures to the modeling to the flight dynamics, and although I have some minor complaints about the flight dynamics, which we'll get onto in a second, overall the quality is absolutely incredible. It also comes with an assets pack, which is completely free. We've got the Vietnam assets pack, so everything you see there with the vehicles and the buildings that you can place. It also, the helicopter can be equipped with a minigun. It can be equipped with a soldier with a rifle. It can be equipped with a camera for some very fun non-military style action, as well as a searchlight, various different liveries. You can have race cars that you can place. You can have a mountain climber place on the side of a mountain that you need to go and rescue. So the amount and the variety of stuff that they've done with this helicopter, oh my god, it is so cool. However, when this mod actually came out, I refrained from making a video about it because my personal, and once again very humble, unprofessional opinion, the flight model was really poor. But recently there has been some great updates to the flight model, and in my opinion it is now not only just acceptable, but actually probably in many aspects one of the best, if not the best, flight dynamics of a helicopter representation in any simulator, certainly in DCS. And I thought now is a good time to actually make the video, and although I will get into a couple of gripes I have with the flight model, overall it is absolutely incredible. Now today we're going to be doing a little bit of air work, we're going to be doing a little bit of hovering and maneuvering, and doing some approaches, different styles of approaches, some low-level flying, and shooting the minigun at some targets. I built this little base, which is based on the Vietnam era. It's obviously on the Marianas Islands map. For any Patreon supporters, feel free, you can download the mission, try it out yourself. Without further ado, sit back and enjoy the ride.
We have 2 good engine starts. You're clear to disconnect the headset. We'll see you on the left with the pin. Thanks a lot.
If you look at the top left-hand corner of the screen, you'll see on the controls display there that my collective, when it's in its furthest full down position, is actually not all the way down in the helicopter here. And so the reason for that is because I've added a little bit of saturation to increase the precision that I have in the range of travel of the collective that where I normally fly, like hover. Specifically, it's really for hovering, just to have a little bit more precision. You'll see why in a second. Now we'll just trim it a little bit back here with a trim release button, just for hover. Get rid of that, and just see if we can gently add a collective left pedal, I should say. I know helicopter pilot's gonna shout at me. And definitely the easiest helicopter, I think, when it comes to hovering. You could definitely just freeze it exactly where you want, and it's just so nice and beautiful to keep it hovering anywhere you want. For me, this is easily the best helicopter for hovering. Now, I do have a little bit of saturation in my cyclic in terms of pitch. I do not have any saturation when it comes to roll, because I think it's already pretty good. But for pitch, just because I only have a 5 centimeter extension, and I just wanted a little bit more precision out of it here, especially in hovering with minute movements, you know, forward and backwards, so that I basically decided that, you know, it's a good idea to reduce the amount of, you know, just to add a little bit of pitch saturation, because I'm not really going to be using full forward cyclic anyway. So we come in and have a look at the Willies here. This is the Vietnam assets pack, by the way, for anybody that doesn't know. This comes with the mod. It's absolutely phenomenal. All of this is free. Absolutely incredible. Hats off to 8ball and Tobsen for the incredible job that they've done, and what I think is now effectively my favorite helicopter in DCS. It is such a joy to fly, maneuver, and you can be so precise with it. It's absolutely brilliant. Look at this thing. I absolutely love these little things for carrying around like ammo. In fact, you can see the guy's leg move. That's really awesome. Is he actually pressing on the throttle? Is he? Hold on a second. Is this dude actually pressing with his leg or his foot onto the throttle? Like, I'm gonna investigate that. We'll check out the precision of being able to fly this helicopter as well, because I really want to see this. Right, am I gonna see? Dude, he's moving his feet. What? No way. He's adding a little bit of gas in there. Look at that. That is incredible. What? That is sick. Oh, that is dope. Oh, that is amazing. Wow, I didn't realize that's actually mod. Wow, guys, this is phenomenal. This is phenomenal. My God, we need a Vietnam map now, please. Thank you. Seriously, need a Vietnam map. Right. Let's bring this puppy into a hover here, and we'll just talk a little bit about controlling this chopper. And I'm still getting used to it. I mean, I barely have any time in it, really. I mean, I just barely enough to feel kind of, broadly speaking, comfortable throwing it around a little bit. So let's bring it into a hover. Now, it is a phenomenal helicopter to hover. And you could be super precise with it. Now, I do have a complaint when it comes to landing. More specifically, the collective. It takes bloody ages for this helicopter to respond to collective inputs in terms of, you know, climbing, descending, that kind of thing. And I don't think that should ever be the case. Certainly not the case for any other helicopter, and this is lighter than all the other helicopters. The other thing to note is that this has less ground effect than other helicopters in DCS. I've asked Toby why that is, and apparently this is the way it is in real life, and that is it. And that's fine. You know, obviously, if this is supposed to be that way, then, you know, I believe it. I'm just swinging the nose round here at 90-degree increments just to basically get used to hovering this thing. I think that's a really good exercise. So you're trying to maintain your position and just swing the nose round and see if you can just establish a new steady hover on that heading. Super nice. It, like I say, it's definitely just feels like the best helicopter ever to hover. Feels the most realistic and just the nicest. Really hands-on. Really cool. Let's just do a 180 here. But like I said, I do have a large complaint, big complaint with the collective. I think it should be more reactive and more eager to respond. And especially when you're actually trying to touch down, when you're trying to judge, you know, minute micro inches, it's so difficult, and it always bounces, which is annoying. And part of that is because the skids and the struts on the skids don't absorb any of the landing, and they actually let it super rigid. And you kind of end up bouncing around, and that's kind of, especially in the grass, which is ridiculous. That shouldn't be the case. In fact, let's just check that out. If I bring this helicopter out to this pontoon, we can have a look, and I can tell you and show you exactly what I mean. It is an absolute pain to touch down in this helicopter, which is such a shame because it's such an amazing machine to fly and feels so realistic in just about every other way. We're going to take this right helipad, by the way, and come in from this side. We've got zero wind today, so you know we're not worried about landing into wind. So we'll just come in onto this rightmost helipad, and judging everything, the distance with the collective, like the the height. Oh my God, it's such a pain, I find. Genuinely, I mean, you can kind of, if you're very smooth with it, you kind of can get it, but then just the last touchdown, the last bit that you want to cushion yourself, just a tiny bit, that's difficult. Right, let me just concentrate. See if I can do, but you'll see what I mean. It always bounces on landing, no matter what you do, no matter how smoothly you try and get it, always bounces. Right, let's eke it down. So look, I would argue with this very slow rate of descent, just reduce the collective slightly, let it touch down gently. Okay, that wasn't the worst, but it just always, we've actually slid slightly as well, but it always bounces, which is very annoying. I feel like it should cushion itself down onto the skids. So getting a smooth touchdown, honestly, or like not a smooth, but like a gentle touchdown, it honestly is just so difficult. And I know that some of you are going to say, well, yeah, it's more practice. It's like, guys, other helicopters, you know, it's not like this. And, you know, like, I'm no real helicopter pilot, but I've seen how they land in real life in videos, and you can tell that these skids and those struts cushion the landing really nicely. And it doesn't, unfortunately, DCS. So that's kind of like a minor complaint that I have. I really wish that they can, you know, improve on that and fix it, because otherwise, you know, it's phenomenal helicopter. You know, like, it's so damn easy to hover. It feels just so realistic. And if I haven't mentioned it already, I do have a little bit of saturation in my pitch axis. I think I said that in the beginning. But, you know, and on these assets pack, you know, things, they come with this helicopter. It's all free. Absolutely phenomenal. Oh, by the way, I just noticed that it's like rotor blades are spinning on that thing, even though it's stationary, which is a bit strange. Maybe that's a bug. I'm not sure. What we'll do now is I'll just, in fact, let's just do a tactical landing. And this is one of the problems with having this collective, which is so sluggish. So I'm going to just put the collective down, and I'm going to use, I don't know, I guess you could call it air braking, to try and, we'll land on this runway somewhere. Try and bring it into kind of like a, if you want to land onto the skids with a bit of forward momentum, so difficult. So difficult in this helicopter. Like, I find, like here, can we get it? Oh, we just about got it, actually. Yeah, okay, we got it. But it, again, like I say, it's a little bit of a pain to judge with the collective, because it's so sluggish to respond, even though this kind of worked out not bad, actually. It's sort of exactly what I intended, a little bit of forward momentum skid. I'll just bring it up again. Yeah, I'm obviously, you know, you can practice and you can get better at it, but I just feel like there needs to be a bit of that. It needs to be a little bit more responsive. What we'll do is, it's absolutely phenomenal flying in between the trees in this thing. I've always loved doing it in the Huey, you know, at, you know, a few feet off the ground, and just throw it around trees. And I've always complained about how sluggish and slow the Huey is to respond. Well, not so with this helicopter. Absolutely incredible. The roll rate is just crazy good. I mean, I am just in love with flying this thing at super low level. Obviously, this is the Marianas Islands. You guys are probably aware. The mission file will be available to any Patreon supporters, just in case you guys are interested in downloading the mission yourself. Just trying it out. It's been just a little while building the base, and I've got some targets here. Quite close where we can go and shoot some stuff. So in fact, we're just gonna let's make a turn towards the target area. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal helicopter to throw in around the trees. I absolutely love it. You know, I've when I was a kid, I watched that video of the BO-105 doing its crazy thing, flying around in you know, sort of between the trees and stuff. And there's like it's almost like a little race course. And I think I'm gonna do that with this helicopter as well, because it's just so much fun to just throw around in between the trees. Like, you can judge it so nicely. I feel. I've got some targets just in that little semi-island, peninsula, whatever you want to call it. So we'll just go arm, get the gun ready, and try and shoot some targets here. So if we do a little pop-up, you'll see there's a couple of trucks here. And there's one between those bushes. Again, part of the Vietnam assets back, because this 130. I think my dad drove one of those things, actually. Let's see if I can get a little bit of... It takes a while for the gun to start shooting. It's a Gatling gun. It does take a little while for the gun to start shooting. Just needs to spin up, but it's so cool. And I mean, they've added so much cool stuff with this mod, which I'll investigate in another video. You know, you can have a searchlight, you can have a camera, you can you know, there's like Jurassic Park liveries. There's like a mountain climber that's stranded that you can position somewhere to try and rescue. I mean, it's just so cool what they've done. It's freaking awesome. Honestly, it is awesome. So you can get. Some good hits there. Good hits. And right, let's come back for a landing and wrap this up and give my final thoughts on this absolutely brilliant mod. I mean, honestly, this is the best mod, I think, in DCS, just in terms of how complete it is. in terms of how well it looks. I mean, everything you look inside here, and honestly, it feels like maybe a Razbam did this cockpit, which unfortunately, obviously, Razbam is no more, but, you know, I mean, it's so good. I just wish they had a virtual pilot body. I think it's such a shame they don't have a virtual pilot body. I mean, it's the only thing for me that's kind of letting it down, if I'm honest, because I just think it'd be so cool. I mean, it's a bit of an immersion breaker for me personally when modules don't have a pilot body, because this thing is so complete in every other way that I feel like it's kind of a shame that it, you know, that it doesn't have a pilot body. I wish we had the Little Bird MH6 version of this, you know, the slightly later version with the T-tail stuff, because then we could use it on all the maps and do all sorts of like special forces missions and whatnot, because this specifically is a Vietnam era OH-6, and what we'll do is we'll come into land onto the helipad where we started at the very beginning of the day. It's just there. Let's just try and kill that momentum. Alright, it's a little bit of concentration. See if we can bring it into this helipad. Yeah, again, the collective is just judging it is so difficult. It's literally just the collective, in my opinion, that, and the fact that it just doesn't cushion itself on landing. That to me is just the only thing. But otherwise, absolutely brilliant flight model. And you know, it's funny because it started off I hated it, now I love it. Hey, oh my goodness! You see, all right, that was poor. Let's do that again. And again, I'm gonna blame this on the collective. It's just too difficult to judge sometimes. It just kind of crashes into the ground. It just, you can't cushion it yourself. You know, you can't add a tiny collective input and then have it, you know, cushioned straight there and then, because it takes so bloody long to react. I just feel like it's a bit annoying, right? Nope. You see, it bounced around a little bit and then skidded rather. So let's do that again, because I ain't a fan of that. See, that was a bounce. Hey, don't double over. Good. Oh God. Okay, that sucked. That landing sucked. Honestly, this is my kind of biggest complaint. I know you could say that's, you know, it's just bad piloting, but honestly, I feel like this should be easier. I mean, I just mean the touchdown. Like I just think the skids need to compress a little bit. The struts need to compress. The skids need to absorb the landing a little bit more. So you shouldn't, even if you do misjudge the landing slightly, your rate of descent, you just don't get like a super smooth one, super gentle one. You should still not bounce off, you know, from that initial touchdown, especially in grass. I don't know if DCS physics allow for different landing mechanics depending on whether you're, you know, hard surface or a soft surface, but still, it would be a lot better, I think. And just that collective is just really sluggish for me, and that the reason why I've added a little bit of saturation in there, so that is that I can have a little bit more range in terms of having that precision. Now, ideally, what I would have liked to do, if I could show you actually, is if we go in the cockpit here. Ideally, what I would have liked to have done is actually capped it off at the top end, because if you think about it, you never really use the top part of the collective because you'll be way above max torque. So actually, I would have capped it at the top if I could and still had the full range of motion, but there's no way of doing that in DCS, I think. There's only a way of reducing the amount of travel at the bottom. But anyway, folks, I think this is an absolutely phenomenal mod. I mean, literally absolutely incredible. Just look at the detail on that. Just how good is that? I mean, that is so ridiculous that this is a mod. Another thing, actually, you see the pilot doesn't move the cyclic when I move my cyclic. I wish that kind of something that could be improved. Just, you know, and obviously if we could have that same virtual pilot body in first person view, you know, oh my God, that would be just so freaking cool. But otherwise, honestly, what a phenomenal job. Thank you so much to 8ball and Tobsen for doing this. I mean, absolutely incredible. I really hope that we see just a few minor improvements with the landing physics and also the virtual pilot body. And maybe it would be nice, again, this is just because the mod is so good, so I'm really nitpicking because it's I mean, I have no right because, you know, it's free and it's so amazing. But you see these rotor dynamics, the physics, I mean, like, it would be cool if we could have something more like what we have now in with the newer helicopters, you know, the Apache, the K-50, just because, you know, this looks a little bit I don't know how to describe it, but a little bit unrealistic. So I hope you guys have enjoyed that video. If you have, please tell me what you think in the comments below about the OH-6, if you've you know, if you've flown it, and tell me if there's any videos specifically you'd like done with the OH-6. I absolutely love flying it, so I'm sure, although I get frustrated with landing this thing, I will absolutely continue to make as much content as I can with it because it's just so much fun. But if you have enjoyed it, then please comment down below, subscribe for future videos, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. Adios.